We want to take a closer look now at two other states. President Trump won both in 2016, but now former Vice President Joe Biden is in the lead. In Florida, he is up 2 points ahead of the president. In North Carolina, Mr. Biden is at 51%, and Mr. Trump 4 points behind him at 47%. CBS News Elections and Surveys Director Anthony Salvanto joins us from Westchester County, New York, to tell us more. Good morning to you, Anthony. What is the state of the race?
Good morning, Margaret. Well, more toss-up states throughout the South. Those polling leads very narrow. These states could go either way. Let me show you why, starting with some dramatic differences in how voters are evaluating the candidates and the state of the country. First, look at concern about coronavirus. Majority of Joe Biden voters very concerned, much less so among Trump voters. It's that coronavirus concern that's been driving votes towards Joe Biden throughout the summer and the fall. And then put that in context, Margaret. For Biden voters, it's a major factor in their vote, along with personal character, where they see Biden with an edge over President Trump. Less so for Trump voters. For them, it's much more about the economy and immigration, and maybe underscoring why opinions just haven't moved on all of this throughout. Big differences in how people view the threats to the country. Trump voters fearing that the country is becoming too socialist. Biden voters that it's becoming too authoritarian, underscoring all the fact that this race seems very locked in at the moment, Margaret.
So what are the key groups of voters you're watching?
The first group you want to watch throughout election night is women with college degrees. I want to show you big margins in all these states, as in many battleground states, for Joe Biden in Florida, in Georgia, in North Carolina. Women with college degrees have been trending towards the Democrats since the midterms of 2018, and they are still propelling him right now. Even more specifically, look at white women with college degrees, and I'll show you the movement since 2016 towards the Democrats, in this case towards Joe Biden, up from what Hillary Clinton got in Florida, up from what Hillary Clinton got in Georgia, and up from what she got in North Carolina. That's a big part of this. And then I would add seniors. This is an important vote. The president with leads in a couple of these states, Biden leading with seniors in North Carolina marginally, seniors vote. So that's an important part of this. They've been concerned about the president's handling of coronavirus. Biden cutting into the president's margins in what's been a reliably Republican bloc is also helping him a lot. Margaret?
Anthony, this is just such an unusual year. We have 57 million Americans who have already voted at this point. Is there a risk here of misreading these early indications?
Well, it's a tale of two groups. First, you look at the early vote, and we estimate about half the vote in all of these states is already in. Among those voters, Joe Biden has a lead. These are voters who have told us that they voted for Joe Biden. And also, if you look at the public voting rolls, it seems like Democrats are turning out more than Republicans. But if you look at voters who are still to vote, plan to vote between now and Election Day or on Election Day, that electorate tilts very heavily towards the president. When we get to November 3rd, it's going to be a case of perhaps the Democrats have a lead, and then do the president's supporters turn out in large enough numbers to make up the difference? They have done that before, and I would caution anybody, if you read the early vote, or for that matter, small polling leads, and think that this race is over, you will be mistaken. Margaret?
Noted, Anthony. But when you look at these three states, are these required for President Trump to have a path to victory? Does he need to swing this?
If you look at the map and then you put these states, hypothetically, back into the president's column. So I'll put Florida, I'll put Georgia, and I'll put North Carolina all back to where they were in 2016, which could happen. Then he's got to go up and win Ohio again, and I'll put Iowa again back in his column. That, on the electoral vote count, gets him much closer to Joe Biden, and then we're back to the upper Midwest, and we're going to watch Pennsylvania, maybe Wisconsin, or a couple of those other states to see if he can flip them from leaning Democratic as well. So if that feels a little bit like 2016 or that old Yogi Berra line, it's deja vu all over again, maybe it is. Margaret?
Ain't over till it's over, Anthony. Thank you very much.